All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Callie, and today I have a super fun activity planned for you guys. We will be making balloon dinosaurs. So here is an example of what I will be showing you guys how to do. And there's only a few things that you need for this activity. The first being you'll need some balloons to blow up. Any color, any size works. Next, you'll be needing a pen or a pencil to draw out your shapes of your dinosaur, along with some type of craft paper. You could also use any type of white paper and color that in as well. And then some tape and some scissors. So today I have already blown up 2 separate balloons to make 2 separate dinosaurs to show you guys. I don't blow them up too big, but you do want them big enough to be able to glue or tape your paper onto. So with my balloons, I have some matching colored craft paper with me. And what I will be doing is I will be showing you guys how I am tracing the shapes of my dinosaurs, and then we will cut them out and we will tape them onto our balloon. So with this one, I didn't really have a certain idea of how I was going to do it. I kind of just played around with it, kind of did different shapes for the legs just to see how it would go. So the one that we will be doing right now is a T-Rex, because I know that is a very popular dinosaur, and that is one people might want to see. So we'll be using our green balloon for that one, and I will be showing you how to cut up some shapes. So you can see my paper. The first thing that you're going to want to do for your T-Rex is we're going to want to draw his face and his neck. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just start out by drawing his neck. So we'll just do 2 lines up to his neck. I'll turn this around so you guys can see it. But so what I did there is I just did 2 lines for his neck. And then we kind of will go out in a circle and then bring out the kind of front of his face. So as you can see, that is the shape I have here, and we can kind of mess around with it as we go because we will be cutting it out, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And again, I actually am going to use my pen or my pencil to draw in features. So for this guy, I will be drawing in an eye, and I will be drawing in his teeth. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm just going to do a circle where his eye would normally be. I'm going to do that again on the other side. And then we'll be doing his teeth. So I'm just going to do a straight line, and then we're going to do some triangles up and down just to give him jagged teeth. Just like that. And now we will cut him out. So for doing the head of the dinosaur, we only have to cut out 1, as well as for the tail. But for the rest of the features, like the arms and the legs, what I like to do is I like to just draw it once, and then I fold my paper, and we create 2 of the same shapes by doing that. Alright, so as you can see here, here is his head. I'm just going to go in on the other side and give him some teeth. So again, I'm just going to go up and down, just like that. And the next thing we're gonna do is we are going to want to do his tail. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start out on the side and just make kind of a curved triangle shape. There's that, and we'll just cut that out. You want to be a little conscious of the sizes you are making your shapes, as you want them to kind of match up. I made sure that our tail wasn't quite as large as our head, but it was still large enough for us to view. And then lastly, we will be doing his legs and his arms. So as you know, T-Rexes have very tiny arms, but they do have very big legs. So what we'll be doing is we'll be kind of making similar back legs like we did on this guy. And so what I did for that is I just made a pretty large loop, kind of a half circle, and then I cut down and cut out for his foot. So I just kind of did that type of shape, and then we'll just circle our way back up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place another sheet of green paper right underneath this one, and then when we cut out the leg, there will be two. So I'll just follow this shape. And don't worry about cutting on the lines too much. I actually cut on the inside of my line, as I don't want the lines to be visible once I tape them on to my balloon. Alright, so now we have our two dinosaur legs. Again, we have our tail, and we have our face. So lastly, we need to make his little T-Rex arms. And what I'm going to do for this as well is I will be folding the paper. But we're just going to do kind of two little arms just like that. I gave him little fingers a little bit. But I will just be folding this paper again, and we'll be creating two of those. All right, so now we have our two arms. So now we have everything we need to create our T-Rex. So I'm going to pull our balloon really tight. And I'm actually going to be cutting the end off of the balloon. Not too close to the edge. We still want to make sure it stays tied, but close enough that you can't see it. And depending on the dinosaur, you can use the end of the balloon at either end. I'm going to be putting our head at the very top of this balloon. So how I do this is I take two pieces of tape and I line them up on the balloon, or on the paper, just like this. So you cover about a little bit of the dinosaur and then you leave some open. That way when you go to stick it on, all you have to do is push that tape down. And then to make it a little bit stronger, what I do again is I take some pieces of tape, I go along the other side, I make sure I get both the balloon and I get the dinosaur. So as you can see, I taped it down on both sides, but there is his head. The next thing that we can add is his tail. So for the tail, I do the same exact thing. what I do is I just tape halfway down on our paper, just like that, and then I will go all the way down to the end of the body, not quite to the bottom, but we'll do about right there, and we'll stick that down really good. Then I bend this back and we will tape it on the other side just like we did for the head. Alright, so now we have our tail and we have our face glued down. You can kind of bend this around to shape it how you want. And then the next thing we will be adding is our legs and our arms. So for the legs, I do this a little different as they don't have to be taped on a certain side. So I actually just tape directly down onto our leg. And then we take our body. I find a place that looks good and I will just tape it down. If it's not sticking as well, you can add a piece of tape on the top. That's what I did for these legs. I'll kind of move this down a little bit. And then we'll take our other leg and we'll do the exact same and try to line it up as equally as you can with the other. So again, we will just put tape on the inside and then we stick our leg right down to it. And finally, you want to add our little arms. So just as we did the head and the tail, we will just tape on the one side, stick it down, and then we'll bring it back up, tape on the other side, and it will stick right out just like that. So I'll finish out this last arm, and then the T-Rex will be all finished. Alright, so we have the outside stuck down, and then we will stick the inside. Alright, just like that. And there you have our T-Rex. Just like that. So now we have our two dinosaurs. And the last one that I will show you is I'll show you how to do the first dinosaur that I showed you guys. So as I told you earlier, I have an orange balloon for this one. And what I'll do is I'll kind of do different shapes for this guy as I don't have as much paper as I use for this one, but also it gives you different ideas of what to use for the arms and the legs. So for the head, what you want to do is just kind of make a loop shape and come back around. So look something like that. For the tail, you want to do the same thing that you did for the head or for the tail of the T-Rex. So you just want to make kind of an angled triangle. And then for the legs, just like the T-Rex, I'm going to do those bigger legs in the back, and then I'll be doing the smaller legs in the front. So what I'll do for this is I'll make that big loop again, and then I'll come down and make our foot. So if you want to see how that looks, that's how I did that. And because I don't have enough room to actually fold this paper, I'm just going to do that shape again. And we will just cut out the feet twice for this one. And then for the front legs on this guy, I just did little shapes that kind of resemble a boot. And again, because I don't have room, I will just make those shapes twice. So just like the last, I'm going to go through and we will cut out all these shapes. Alright, there's our first front leg. And we'll cut out the next. I think I said this earlier, but I actually do cut inside the lines. That way you can't see the pen or pencil once I tape them onto the dinosaur. There's our second front leg. Now we'll work on the back. Alright, so there is our first back leg. And then we'll do our second. As you can see, if you do fold your paper, cutting out these does make it a little faster, as you can double the shapes you are making. Alright, there is our second leg. Next, we have the tail, which again is just that curved triangle shape. Just like that. And then finally, we will cut out the head and neck of this guy. So we're gonna wanna go around that curve like I showed you. Just like that. And just like we did the T-Rex, I will add some features. So for this one, I'm going to do an eye and a little smile. So again, on the other side, I'll do an eye and a smile. And then we will tape these down. So just like the last, we will make sure we pull this tight. And then we will be cutting off the excess. This you can use at either end. I'm going to use it at the tail's end. So just like the last dinosaur, we will just take pieces of tape halfway, line them up. That way you have that excess tape to stick onto the balloon. Find your end. We will tape them right on. And then we will take two other pieces of tape and we will glue them onto, or tape them onto the other side. Because of that, it makes it stick right up, just like that. And so now from here, we will place our head. So I will look at where our tail is at, and right about there looks kind of good. So just like the last, I will be taking some tape onto the front. Right there, did we say? That looks pretty good. And then one more piece of tape, and we'll secure the back of this guy. And again, the easiest part for this is to do the legs, as you can go ahead before and roll up your tape. and we'll just stick it on to the back of the leg. So here is our back leg. We'll put right there. Actually, we'll put it down a little bit more as we want his feet to kind of hang off his body, just like that. And then we'll follow that with the front leg. So what I did for this on the other guy is I kind of looked at where the feet will line up. We'll have to put it a little further down. Oh no. Okay, well, the balloon popped, but I can show you on this one. So I looked at where their feet lined up, and that is where I taped down. So as you can see, I did that. And this is why we make sure we don't blow them up too big, as they do have the risk of popping. But good thing is I did have this one to show you guys. And that will be what would be the final product of the orange one that I was showing you before. But alright, that is all I have for you today. Again, here's a look at our T-Rex. And I will drop some pictures of these guys in the comments. But they are all done. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you later this week.